All right, Pete, did you want to get started? You good to go?
Are you good to go? If you were going to ask me, am I good to go, then you have to start the episode.
Okay. Hey, all of you out there in Eorzea, welcome to She Heals, I Tank, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Today is Friday, November 15th, and this is episode 194 of the Shit Podcast. I'm your host, not Vegan Pete, and always by my side is the lovely not...
Hey, I'm Vegan Pete, guys. How you doing today?
I was going to say not Aviel. Thanks as always for being here, Pete.
Thank you for having me, Avi.
Anytime. I hope everyone is having an amazing Friday night or whatever day it is that you're listening later via the podcast or even watching it on YouTube. There are lots of ways you can listen or watch the show, but if you can, we'd love to see you live here at Twitch at twitch.tv/SheHealsITank. We like to see your comments in chat, letting us know when Pete is wrong about something.
Damn it.
And if we're hitting on something that you've got a big opinion on, feel free to call into our show via the Discord, and we'll see what you have to say and love chatting with you. It's always so much fun. And if you don't have that link, it is on our Twitch channel and our Twitter. If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome. If you enjoy our show, we'd love it if you would tell a friend, because that's the best way to spread the word. And if you're so inclined, you could throw a sub our way. If you have Amazon Prime, link that Twitch to your account, and boom, you've got a free sub that you can use every month. I know that I do it personally. We are always honored if you choose to use it on us, but if you don't use it on us, just make sure you use it on somebody, because don't let that go to waste, because,
Bezos has too much money. Take $5 out of his pocket.
Help out a hardworking streamer. And, of course, we have some people to shout out this week for subscribing. And, again, thank you so much to Allura for Real, Tier 1 scribe.
I feel like I've seen that name before, though, so I think Twitch might be lying to me.
Undead Turkey Leg. Mono Cremisi, Ghost Wolf Rage, and Disco Cup. Oh, wait, I went too far. They all said tier 1. I didn't see the weeks. Okay, so it's my first time doing this. Allura for Real, Undead Turkey Leg, and Mono Cremisi are both first month subscribers. Thank you guys so very much.
First time subs.
That's what I try and say. Ghost Wolf Rage and Disco Cup, thank you for your second sub. We really appreciate it. Gator Pants, Sheepy2, Wobberjacks, Adeline, and Rathok are all third-month subscribers. You guys are wonderful.
See, I feel like Twitch is off. I feel like many of those people have more than 3 months. I think Twitch is fucking with me.
Kays and Ken, you are glorious for your 4 months in a row. Awesome Austin, 5 months in a row. I think you're pretty
These
clever.
are not in a row. These are total.
Jessa, or Jessa. It's 8 months. You're very, very pretty. Moxie, you're a sweetheart. 10 months in a row. Thank you, guys. We have a fun show for tonight and a lot to talk about. The reason I'm introducing the show this week is because I said, hey, Pete, are you ready? And he says, well, if you're going to ask me, then you'd better start the podcast. And I said, fine. And I just started. So just so you guys know that we will no longer be a spoiler-free podcast tonight with patch 5.1 MSQ. We are not going to do a full deep recap like we have in the past, because that format does not work. We never even got through all of 5.0.
I was bored with it after I was going so in-depth on 5.0.
I couldn't get him to stop.
We only got
Couldn't get you to stop.
You could have written something on your own.
Well, I didn't want to write it the way you wrote it. But now we'll be talking about why we're at the new dungeon titled Grand Cosmos, and why Kai Shear is trying to get more people to the Beehive. Who the hell is running Yulmore now? And do we still have to fear Black Rose? We'll be talking about all this stuff like that with the new content, as well as the restoration of Ishgard, which has gotten a little bit of praise and a lot of criticism.
Really? I heard the opposite.
I'm just both. Lots of great stuff to talk about tonight, but before we get to any of that, let's kick it off with everyone's favorite segment.
Greenleaf Minute.
It's the Greenleaf Minute.
I think people are going to get mad if you don't do it.
I think they'll be okay.
It's the Greenleaf Minute. See, you didn't do that part.
I did that part, yeah.
Just trying to block it out, apparently. It's the Greenleaf Minute, and today I'm going to teach you about hotbar copying. That's right. In case you don't do like a shared hotbar throughout all your characters, which you can enable via the settings.
So this is mostly for crafters, right?
Yeah, or if you have a hotbar that's the same that you want on every job, where it's just like switching to the other jobs.
But how can they be the same? Because all the abilities are different.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you have one hotbar that just has every job you have, so you can switch to that job easily, you could copy that if you want to make some changes on or something like that.
What I thought it was.
No, it is. I just don't know why you're not keeping up.
Okay, then you need to better explain this, because you explained it to me and I didn't understand it, because what you're explaining now is not as exciting as what I thought it was before. Because I thought it was like your hotbars, where it's like your abilities that you're using and you could copy them.
It's whatever you have on the hotbar, whether it's an ability, whether it's to switch to another job.
But if you're copying abilities that are from a different job, how will that help you?
But you're... On the crafters, they're all named the same.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Okay, see, there you go. This is why it's the Greenleaf Minute. Avi doesn't craft.
So yeah, for abilities, it's very nice for crafters and gatherers, but it's also available if you have all your jobs listed and you want to be able to have that as the same way on each character.
So this will not work for combat classes, is basically what we're saying.
Well, it would work, but all your stuff would be fucked up.
It would, so it literally would be pointless. But you can use it if you, for those hotbars on the side that maybe have food or mounts, or like Pete was saying, like a hotbar.
You could have all your signs on it.
Signs?
Your markers, 1, 2, A, B, C, D.
Yeah, stuff like that.
So the command for this is /hotbar space copy space, and then the character that you want to copy from. So for example, I have weapon craft, or I should use a different one, armor crafter as my main.
I was like, weapon craft, I don't know what that is.
And so you can use the abbreviation or the full name. So you have to know the exact full name if you're going to use the full name.
Okay.
Like I said weapon crafter, but I think it's like metalsmith or something like that. I forget what the weapon one is. So just say armor crafter, for example. You could either write out armor crafter or ARM, because that's the abbreviation for armor craft.
I always just called it an armorer or a blacksmith. I know this
Whatever.
weaponsmith thing.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It's BSM. That's all I know it is.
It's blacksmith, you dum-dum. Like, I was like, Pete just made up a new
but
crafter.
Why would blacksmith not do armor?
Well, you're like limiting them in a way that doesn't need to be limited.
Whatever your fucking crafter is, whichever one you want to copy.
You want to make them up. We've got blacksmith and armorer, because blacksmith. Oh, I see. Because they do more of the weapons, and that's why your brain went weapon crafter, which is just
so
weird.
whichever you want to make
Pete
your
likes
main
to
one,
craft too, you guys.
Whichever, I don't know the names of anything. I just do shit. Whichever one is your main that you want to copy from, put that first. So /hotbar copy, and then either the abbreviation or the full name of the one you want to copy from, and then a space, and then the number hotbar you want to copy. So if it's hotbar number 1, press number 1, and then you want to do the name of the job that you want to copy it to. So if you want to copy your armor to culinarian, you do space CUL for culinarian, or write it out, space 1, and that will copy it to hotbar 1 of your culinarian.
That's actually, so basically, like, because what I ended up doing was I made my hotbars for one of my crafters, and then every time I logged on to my next one, I kept having to redo it. So all I had to do was type /hotbar copy BSM1 space :1 or CUL1. That's really cool.
And you can put that into a macro. So you can do all your crafting jobs at once.
It couldn't be a macro, though, because you'd have to change it each time.
You just do another line. You can do 15 lines in a macro.
That's right. So you just put them all together.
So
and then anytime there's changes, you just hit that macro again.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So it's really convenient for that. And I actually had 4 hotbars for crafters. So I had hotbar copy BSM 234 to culinarian 234. And you just hit that macro. Does it all really quickly, really easily.
Huh. I actually thought that was... Pete told me how to do that earlier this week. And I obviously... I didn't quite understand it. Well, you made it confusing just now, but you made it clear before. And I was like, well, that's got to be the Greenleaf Minute, because that's pretty damn cool.
And yeah, any other questions about that, Avi? You got it now? You clear?
See, confusing Greenleaf Minute is what happens when you write a 5-word Greenleaf Minute.
Pretty clear to me.
KK said that he used to have a macro similar to that for Summoner and Scholar.
Yeah, and most of the time on the crafters, you're not going to use it that often, because the abilities rarely change, but we obviously had a big change in this latest patch, so a lot of people had to take off a lot of abilities.
And I don't think most people are using all of their macro slots. Like, there are a lot of them. So if you just created it as a macro once, you could just reuse it again very easily.
KK McLeod's asking, what about PS4, Pete? Can you not do macros on a PS4? I don't know.
Don't know. Crossbar?
Because if you can, just make a fucking macro.
Can do, says Cater Pants.
Yeah, make a macro. Unless it's cross hotbar. You might have to do / cross hotbar instead of hotbar.
Verbiage might be different. I bet Chili knows.
All right, Avi. You know what time it is.
Oh, wait. It's time for Kitty to take your headphones off because the air horn's coming.
It's the tweet of the week.
Thanks for giving her plenty of time.
It's the tweet of the week.
It's the tweet of the week. And apparently we both have one tonight, Avi.
I do. I have somebody I wanted to thank.
My first one, though, me first, as always, as we know, it is known, is from @panty_pirate on Instagram, who took to our Discord to post a picture of my character in the 2B glamour. You can see like the little bit of the torso and the head, the afro.
And the Namazu earring.
She got everything perfect.
It's amazing.
And I love it so much. So thank you so much @panty_pirate. And as you know, when you make fan art for She Heals I Tank, we call it farts.
Thank you for the fart.
So thank you so much for the fart, Panty Pirate.
Yes. And so my tweet of the week was after, so I just got my hair redone and I took a picture and I shared it. Thank you to everyone, by the way, for all the sweet comments and likes. That was super wonderful. But Mog Moxie just tweeted, and I actually, Mog, I want you to know that I actually sent your tweet, a screenshot of it, to my best friend, who is my hairdresser, because I wanted to let her know how much people thought how good it looked. And Mog Moxie tweeted, "Can we please address how much of a model you are? 100% confidence, 100% mystique, 100% badass, 100% beautifully pinked up while doing it. Keep it up. Y'all's hair game is always 100." And you just made me feel so good. So I want to say thank you. So I'm picking a tweet of the week for me because I appreciate it.
You know how you always say people get your name wrong, your real name wrong, and they always ask what it's short for?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what the hell would Misty be short for?
Mm-hmm.
Could be short for Mystique.
That's what my brother used to say.
Boom.
And KK actually took the same picture and added bunny ears to it, and that was pretty freaking fabulous, actually. I sent that to somebody. I sent that to her as well. I forgot.
So both of our tweets of the week in vain. Just about us.
Yeah. Well, mine was just about being really supportive for somebody else. Like, I really appreciated Moxie saying that. And my best friend is amazing at doing hair, in my opinion. But, you love your best friend. And she needed a confidence boost. And so I felt like a lot of everything you were commenting on was my hair, which I attribute her to a lot of it. So I wanted her to see it as well. And I was really grateful for that. I thought that was really cool.
And people really like that. So if you see someone that's looking fleek or a fly, let them know.
You're so white. I love you.
I said that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time for news and notes from around the realm. Avi.
What?
We only got one piece of news on the Lodestone this week, but it was kind of a big one. We got patch 5.11 and the notes to go along with it. I think by far, the part of patch 5.11 that has gotten the most attention is the restoration of Ishgard, which we will talk about a little more in depth later on. But we found out that this isn't just endgame content for crafters, which we kind of already knew from live letters, but a lot of people still thought that, unfortunately. Did you have something to say?
I did. So Panty Pirate just showed up in chat, and I want to tell you, Panty Pirate, that you were the tweet of the week, and you just missed it. And it was about your fart, your fan art. I want to say thank you. In case you don't go back and listen to the podcast because you are here live, I wanted to let you know that we wanted to thank you.
Your fart was the tweet of the week.
Yes.
Even though it was on Discord.
Yeah.
But for restoration of Ishgard, you'll be able to contribute as long as you have a level 20 crafter. In addition to that, you need to have access to Make Collectibles, which is a level 50 side quest that can be completed on a Disciple of War or Magic job, so you don't have to have a crafter to 50.
Oh.
As long as you have a crafter to 20 and completed the Collectibles quest, you can pick up the quest Litany of Peace from the recruitment notice in the Foundation near the main Aetheryte.
I remember that.
And the other piece of content we got with patch 5.11 is the new Ultimate Fight, which for those of you that are newer to the game, this is the hardest level content in the game.
Crazy difficult.
Usually I'm pretty excited for the world first race to see who's going to complete it first, but I think that the restoration of Ishgard has kind of taken away some of the excitement for me, some of the shine from Ultimate, at least for me anyways. I don't really have much to report on from Ultimate because I haven't watched any of it. I do know that as of today, it still has not been beaten. It's only about 3 days since the release, though. The other Ultimates, Unending Coil of Bahamut and Weapons Refrain, took 11 days and 5 days to beat, respectively.
Chili said he actually was streaming Ultimate today. Have people been having fun with it? What have been like the comments about it?
I haven't looked at anything about it.
I actually didn't even realize that Ultimate had been released because all I had paid attention to was Restoration of Ishgard.
Next story, Avi.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to continue talking about
What's
that.
to talk about? We didn't do anything. We haven't
Okay.
looked at anything.
Me. So probably the biggest news to come out this week wasn't actually for Square Enix. It came out from the Microsoft X019 event in London. While there are plenty of Xbox announcements, the news that interests us the most is from the Xbox head honcho Phil Spencer, who said, "I wanted you to know. Rest assured that we will be bringing the game, Final Fantasy XIV, to Xbox. We have a great relationship with Yoshida-san, FFXIV director, and we're working through what it means to bring to Xbox a cross-platform MMO that they've run for years. This is really awesome, and it confirms what Yoshida has been saying for a while, which that they are working out the details for this to happen. There is no timetable for this. With the new generation of consoles coming out next year, they could potentially be waiting until the new consoles come out, and perhaps maybe even wait until the next FFXIV expansion. In addition...
There's more.
But wait, there's more. So Final Fantasy XIV is eventually coming to Xbox. It was also announced at the same conference that a lot of other Final Fantasy titles are going to be coming to the Xbox Game Pass. Next year, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, or X2, that's what I like to call it, 12, 13, 13-2, Lightning Returns, and 15 will all be available through Xbox Game Pass.
So basically 7 and beyond minus the MMOs.
I also did read, Pete, that if you have Xbox Game Pass, once 11 is out, you don't have to pay the monthly fee because you're already paying for Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, is 11 already out there?
No, when it is. Not 11. I'm sorry. 14. I don't know why I said 11. Because I didn't see 11, I think, and my brain was like, I just counted and missed a number.
Yeah, I don't know if I would count on that until they actually announce it.
Mm-hmm. No, I just, that's one of the things I heard.
Because I'm pretty sure on ESO, you still have to pay both. But I'm not 100% on that.
I have no idea. Well, ESO, you can choose not to pay and play. So Final Fantasy, you don't have the choice.
That might be it.
So it's because you're paying for a crafting bag. It's not playing to pay or paying to play. Words are hard, you guys.
It's a good thing we do a podcast where you don't have to use any.
I'm just gonna do this in God, I can't even think of it.
American Sign Language?
No, it was the dance comment.
No idea what
Expressive
the fuck you're
dance,
talking
but there's interpretive dance. That's God, I can't even get the word for the thing that I was gonna say about not using words. It is
Take a drink, Avi.
Yep.
Take a drink.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we should go ahead and do Teaching Pete lore. Because we're about to get into some discussion, and I think if we do that first, we will not get back to the lore question.
Oh. All right. So this week's question comes from Avi Ale.
What?
Oh my God.
That bitch?
So first, a little backstory for you, Pete. Among Gridania's conjurers, there are the elite few who can sense the voices of the elementals known as hearers, the strongest of whom are called the Seed Seers. Remember the Seed Seers?
I know her.
Okay. Gridania has 3 seed seers.
Mm.
Which of the following is not a seed seer? A. Raya o Senna. B. Benzayama. C. O Apesi. D. Ahrun Senna. And I'm sorry if I butchered the pronunciation.
3 of those are correct?
Yes.
That's some bullshit.
That's why I thought it would be easier to do which one is not for you.
The only one that I thought I knew was Connie Senna. She not a seed seer?
She's like in charge of it. Like she's above them. And this is according to, so if anybody's going to correct me on this question, this is according to the lore book. So I pulled this out of the lore book. I know Panty Pirate Seed Seers as a race would be really cool. Caterpan says E, my DoorDash delivery guy.
Okay, tell me, or I want you to read out B and C again for me.
B is Benzayama and C is O Apesi. O Apesi or O Apesi?
O Apesi sounds like something you might have made up.
Okay.
Trying to get a read on you.
These are the 2 that I figured you would be confused between.
I think you might be trying to trick me with having 2 of the Sennas, but then also 2 of the Sennas might be right. Because weren't they like related to Connie Senna, the other 2 that helped us get What's Her Nuts out of the live stream? Ishtola doing her flow fart into the live stream. Oh, shit. My initial gut told me to go with C, and now I'm trying to talk myself out of it. Say B again.
Benzayama.
Benzai. That sounds made up too.
I mean, technically, they're all made up by someone. Raya?
All right, I'm going to C.
C? O Apesi? C is actually correct.
God damn it.
It's already, yeah, that is actually the one that is, I knew these 2 would be the ones. The one I made up is Benzayama.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, Pete.
So the other 2 centers are correct?
They are, yes.
I feel like I did pretty good.
Pete was like...
That's like 50% because I got 2 of them right.
Pete was like, so what page out of the lore book did you get this from? And I'm like, I don't know the page that I opened the book to. I literally was like, boop, okay, let's make this a question.
But did that really teach anyone lore, Avi?
Yeah, because Ryo Senna, O Apesi, and Ahrun Senna are all seed seers.
Okay.
That's lore.
Okay.
How is...
I see how it is.
What?
You're making it hard for me.
I thought I was...
Trying to get the one wrong.
I thought I was making it easier.
No, that one is hard for me. But at least I still got it right.
Totally.
Let's move on.
So right.
To discussing restoration of Ishgard, Avi. Both of us did this week. You did it first.
Yeah, I did.
You had not the greatest experience with it.
Well, so I went into this and I streamed it. I had already been having a very bad couple of days. My PC has been hating me again, guys. Tell ASOS they're mean. ASOS, my motherboard company. So I kind of just needed a win. I think that night I thought I'll just craft. It'll be fine. I'll gather some things and I'll craft this. And I asked Pete if it mattered if it's high quality or not when I make it, and he said no.
I thought you were working on a subcomponent. I didn't think you were working on the component to turn in.
I was working on the actual components to turn in, and I was level 74 crafter, so I did the level 70 quest or thing to craft, thinking that was like where you started because it matched your level, and I gathered enough items to craft 4 of them, and I just crafted 3 right away, no quality, because Pete said that, and then found out that I couldn't turn any of them in, and because the collectability and the quality is essentially the same thing, and I'd never done collectibles before. I picked up the quest, I tried to do it, and it didn't make any sense to me, so I went, I don't wanna. And yeah, I'd spent a good hour and a half gathering all of the materials myself to make.
And you only had enough for 4?
Yeah, that's why I was so upset. I worked really hard.
Why were you so slow gathering? Dagger eyes.
Really? Are you gonna? Yeah. Are you gonna shame me for that? Because it required 4 to 6 of each thing of 5 things in order to make each item. It took a lot of items to make it.
I know. I did it the next day. Mine went a little bit faster because the viewer was watching me do it and then just gave me a bunch of materials.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Oh, Bread Hater must have been the one who helped. And so, yeah, I just, when I found that out, I was kind of done streaming. So thank you to everybody who came by and cheered me on for my first ever crafting stream.
I think that's what they were going for, though. You had never really put that much time into crafting other than turning in Grand Company items. You hadn't even done leaves to level them. Mm-hmm. So you were...
I've done leaves, not like seriously, though.
You were very green.
Very, very green.
For collectibles and crafting in general, really. Mm-hmm. But I think that's kind of the target audience they were going after for this first part of Ishgard Restoration.
It made me want to do collectibles more than anything else has ever made me want to do collectibles.
Because before, collectibles are just for scripts, and I guess technically this is for scripts and glamour gear, but you're also progressing something for your server.
So I think, Pete, because of the fact that you fucked up and made me lose all that time, I think you need to buy the tank top with the thing tied around the waist and give it to me, because they're selling for 1 million gil on the market board.
Oh, they're tradable?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not
know
that.
I think you need to give me one of those, because I don't have time to. KK says, in highlighted text, Vegan Pete, what does the scouter say about their power level? And then he dropped a game code.
I don't know what a scouter is.
I don't either, but I'm assuming the answer is the game code.
I don't know. But
thank you for dropping the game code, KK, by the way, before Pete just tries to change the subject. Whatever it is, you're super sweet.
I don't know what it's for.
So hopefully whoever grabs the game code, be sure to let us know in chat what it's for, because we are super curious.
Okay, so
I am.
With the restoration of Ishgard, I think the main thing that people had a problem with was this fate that would come around every so often.
Which, by the way, I was online because I got home a little bit early, and I had to, Pete was like, oh, you need to catch up on the MSQ, do this stuff. While I was caught in the middle of like a piece of it where you do story and then you have to add do the active fighting, the fate came up on our server and I did not drop MSQ, Pete. I stuck through because I knew you'd be mad at me if I had to go back and redo stuff. So I did not participate in the fate the first time I had the opportunity to do so.
I could have participated the first time before I even got to making a collectible, and I had integrity. I said I did nothing to help progress this, to help this fate come and pop. So I left so someone else could get in there. It's called integrity, Avi.
I just want to experience it.
So yeah, this fate that we're talking about, the big deal was apparently if you go to this progression site that Square Enix has available so you can see the progression on different servers, you can figure out when the fate is going to go from server to server. Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that anymore.
You cannot.
They turned that off, which I think was great.
People were world hopping just to get to the fate. You're going to get my attention. Tell me what you're trying to say.
I was pointing at chat. I was trying to just let you know that when you finished, so everybody was saying that the Vegan Pete, what does the scouter say about the power level, was a Dragon Ball Z reference, which means it's the power up emote, which is a pretty cool code to drop.
I watched a little bit of Dragon Ball Z when I was growing up.
My brother watched a lot of it. So I watched it by proxy. Sorry, Pete. I was trying to be helpful in a subtle way, so I wasn't interrupting you. And then you're like, well, if you're going to point at something, you may as well just interrupt me.
You're going to get my attention and distract me. Just say what you got on your mind.
Oh, my God. I was trying to be classy about it.
You've never been classy about anything.
And I did. Fuck you. Seriously?
Oh, well.
I actually take insult to that.
It's the podcast.
Yeah, this is where your truth comes out.
This is not truth. All right. Server hopping, no more. But that's what people were doing, and people were getting pissed off because all these people from different servers were coming onto their server, not really helping out with anything, just getting the XP from the fate. Which that's like more effort that I'm willing to put into for something that's super easy to level now. I guess you gotta.
I don't think it's about the EXP. It's the scripts, and it's just super messed up. I mean, I get people are always going to do that. They're always going to find the easiest route. And part of this was they wanted people to go to the lower populated servers to help them keep up, but they weren't going to help them do it. They were just going to go on the other server and then to do the fates. And then that was like scalping, essentially. Kind of just like coming in, taking it, and be like, haha, bitches.
And I gotta say, I hate that they even had this open to begin with. And I know you just said you thought
that was why they
that
did it.
people wanted to go help other servers or something. And I'm like, no. Like, the whole point of having
It's
it
a server
server
race.
specific
Yeah.
is to have a server race.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that people were able to do this, I was like, well, that defeats the whole fucking purpose of it. So
Brett Hater said the instant zones were actually filling up 90 minutes before the fate even started.
Oh my God, guys. How you can make way more scripts than that just crafting the actual shit.
I have no idea because I've only crafted the level 15 shit. Because you were like, just go back and craft the easy stuff, babe. It'll make you feel better. It did not. Because it was so easy to craft that I was like, well, this is what you think of me.
And no, you start at the bottom and you work your way up. You start from the bottom, now you're here. Take it from Drake.
Don't let this distract you from the fact that Pete owns a large house on Gilgamesh and has no crops when he says that he bought it to have the 3 garden patches. Thank you, KK. I need to throw some shame at him real quick.
First of all, I have been gardening. There's not anything in there right now. But second of all, fuck you. It's my house. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it.
But yeah, I was a little. The level 15 ones did not make me feel better at all because those I could do in like
You
3
should have moved
moves.
on to the level 30 ones.
No, because I had all the ingredients. I needed to finish them up. I literally got like no scripts out of that. I got like no EXP out of that. It was just like 30 of them that was like. I feel like more of a failure. I feel like, here, you failed at the thing that's at your actual level, so why don't we send you back to kindergarten and go do this kindergarten stuff, and then you'll feel like you know what you're doing, and that'll make you feel more confident to continue on. Instead, I was like,
That makes sense to me.
fuck you, you gave me a coloring book when I was trying to do trigonometry. Like, that's not a,
You're
that's not like
Billy
a confidence
Madison
builder.
going back to school.
No, I was so not happy. I was like, I did it. I was like, thanks, Beb. I shut down the computer. I was just like, I didn't say any of that to you because I was too mad. I was like, I'm just going to walk away. I'm not doing this anymore.
But what did I catch you doing the very next day?
I am interested in doing, well, I want the glamours. That's why I want to do the restoration of Ishgard. I know I can pay Gil for them and I can buy them, but I want to participate in this. So I went to buy some like accessories were all level 60 to 65. And I said I'm 74 on some of my crafters, maybe 73.
And it's actually a huge jump. Like, if you go
Oh my
from
gosh.
70 to 71 and 72, like, that's a huge jump in
The
item.
like the stats for the accessories and stuff for level 70 and above compared to like the 60s.
Anytime you jump from like 50 to
Ooh.
51, 60 to 61, 70 to 71, it's a huge jump.
It was huge, like the huge. I'm like, not like I can just wait. And so, but the accessories were like really expensive, especially for the ingredients. And so I went, well, I looked up the recipe and I was like, well, they didn't have the stars on them, which means I can craft them. And they were like, so he came home and I was crafting myself accessories and then I crafted extra ones to sell. And he was like, who are you?
You were so mad the other night, and then I find you crafting the very next
But
day.
see, that's-
and that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted.
no,
They wanted people to try out
what
crafting.
I was trying to say
they
is-
wanted people to get all pissed off the first time.
No.
And then go right back at it.
What I'm saying is that is what makes me feel better, is going and being like, well, I'm going to get myself better geared so that I can attempt this. Well, I didn't even attempt to make them higher quality. I literally just went craft, pa-ching. What? I should have actually put some effort into that. So then before going back to that and trying to put effort into it, I'm like, let's at least get myself appropriately geared since my accessories are so low. And so I did, and then I like was like, oh, I'll sell some. But by the way, so I was like, I'm gonna make some gil off of this, dude. You guys, I crafted these things like really quickly, like because I had to go to class that night. So I like crafted, bing, put it up for sale, and I hadn't been able to check it. This was Wednesday, and I hadn't been able to check it till today. I got home. Only like 2 of my accessories sold because people undercut the fuck out of me like right away, and
Everyone's
not by a
having
lot.
the same idea.
Yeah, I thought I was so clever. I mean, I still made like 500K or something, but I could have made like 3 mil. Like, it could have been really good.
Hey, you just got to lower your price.
Yeah. Oh, and see, Panty Pirate even just said, I've been avoiding crafting since 2013. Hey. With this patch, it's all I've been doing. They love it. It's not all I've been doing because...
Oh, it's almost like what I've been saying for the past years, that crafting and gathering is fun.
I actually love those. Someone in Discord, because we're on the podcast, I can't go back and find it, said that in an episode back in April of 2016, Pete had said that he wished there was a way for there to be like a crafting fate. Like, you actually said that you wanted there to be a crafting fate. And I just think it's crazy
Yoshida wrote that idea down, finally got to it.
Going back and listen to our podcast for some inspiration. It's just kind of cool to have an idea 3 years ago and then now see it, like, come into fruition. That's really, really cool. Good job, Pete.
You are welcome, everyone, for Restoration of Ishgard. It was all my idea.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
I think we also talked about Ishgard housing back then as well.
Yeah. A lot of stuff.
All right, so we talked about the server hopping for the Fates. Yoshi P came out with a forum post saying, we did think about this, but we didn't lock down the servers, and we're going to evaluate it a little bit more.
Right.
And then the very next day, it's like, okay, we've evaluated a little bit more, and we're turning off. If you go to visit a different world, you're no longer be able to join the firmament to contribute.
And they didn't even have to do a patch for that. They were able to just do it with the worlds up and running, and I was like, cool, good for you guys. Like, you're on it.
And I think that's how it should have been to begin with, because as I said, I was most interested.
You want a competition.
Yeah, I wanted the server race.
Yeah.
Because I think that's also how you build community as well. You're going to be in there with crafters from your server and all contributing to try to be first in your data center or whatever.
I really hope that, because they did say it was going to get more difficult over time. I wish they'd have started it more difficult to get to the next step.
I don't think you needed anything. Like the actual thing should have been more difficult.
It should have taken
like
longer.
The amount. And that's the thing. Like, everyone was going to everything trying to pop this fate.
They thought it was going to take like 4 or 5 days, and it took like hours.
I agree. It was going much too quick.
And they should have known, because it happens every time. Time.
So what do they need, Avi? What do they need?
A beta server?
They need a test server. Test this shit out. People will always find the easiest way and the most efficient way to do something. You have your team of, I don't even know how big their team of testers would be. 12, 20? I have no idea.
Yeah, you can't compare to a high populated server.
But you open up a test server and allow 1,000 people on there.
Yeah.
They're going to find the fucking fastest way.
Like, I watched Mione's video before I logged in on Tuesday. I watched Mione's video because that was when it was released, while I was like eating before I logged in. And he's like, I recorded this at like afternoon. He's like, look how many people are on this server. Like, it was actually busier midday than it was when I logged on Gilgamesh that evening in Restoration of Ishgard. So, I mean, people took the day off to do this. Like, a lot of people did.
I will say, like, I don't really care, but I was a little bit disappointed that I'm like, oh, if this progresses to the next step, like, I'm not going to get to see the change.
Chile just shared in chat that Balmung has actually 100% finished the event. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
that just sucks. Like,
I'm like, now I'm gonna have to like go to a YouTube channel to see like if anyone has video of the change, because I wanted, like, I don't even know if there is a cutscene when something changes. I have no idea at all.
Yeah, I haven't had any time. But that just, it should not be able to be done that fast, Square Enix. Like, no, come on. Like, just whatever you think is enough for something like this, times it by 10. And then it would, instead of being 2 hours, at least it would be 20. Like, come on. I don't know. It just makes me sad because I am excited to be a part of this. And if it ends too fast,
you're like, who gives a shit?
It's FOMO. It's fear of missing out. It's you won't get to do it because everybody's already finished it.
Yeah, and that was the good thing about Dome and Enclave, is that you could do it at your own pace and you could see all the changes and stuff.
But that wasn't exciting. Like, this is exciting.
This is not. This is exciting because it's a group thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going a little too fast. Although Panty Pirate says, I feel bad for the small servers who are seriously struggling.
I want to be on a struggling one now.
Yeah, I say I'd rather be on that server.
Yeah.
Like I said, you are going.
Don't be mad at me because we moved.
You are going to feel more accomplished when you and your group of other crafters progress this stuff.
Yeah.
If you're on a big server where no one knows anyone, there's a million people in there just turning in shit, it's like, okay, that was neat, but I don't really feel like accomplished. Like, it wasn't hard.
It would have been cool if people were like, hey, I'm gathering for it, and you could get credit for just gathering for it, and then that way people who just wanted to gather could get the scripts, and people who wanted to craft could get the scripts, because like, it would be more efficient if people were just gathering and people were just crafting. But if you were just gathering, then so Chili says that gathering would get scripts in 5.2. But gathering, essentially, you're just getting gil at this point, which is, I mean, honestly, it's if you want gil right now, it's a great way to make gil. Just gather look at what ingredients they want and go and gather it and post them for sale on the market board. Or send your retainers out for certain ingredients that they'll use. But it's still kind of like, I don't know. I wish it was less. The only way you can get scripts is by crafting. And so it'd be cool if it was one or the other, because I've always gathered.
I think in the next one, it won't be just gatherers. I think it will be both. I think they're just going to add to it. They're not going to take anything away.
Okay, and then next time, instead of my times 10, they need to times that shit by 50. Because now they know. And because I realize they finished the first step in a few hours, and if you want whatever step 1, you want that to last 4 days and it lasted 4 hours. You do the math and you multiply it that many times more to make sure that whatever they got done in that first, that's what it's going to take. Like, just don't even underestimate it.
In my opinion,
overshoot it.
I'd be fine if this thing took 2 months.
Yeah. Like, make us earn it.
Make us barely complete it by the time the next patch hits.
Yeah, they should times 100. It's because it's way easier for them to scale it back. Scale it back is so much easier than scaling it up. Scaling it up, because then people get all butthurt. They're like, oh, it's so hard now. Like, if something's hard and you make it easier, people are like, oh my God, I can do this now, instead of being mad about you. Like, no, just I'm not mad at Square Enix about this. I'm like disappointed about it, because I was so excited to have this be something that we would like work together on, and I like get to play 2 or 3 days a week right now, and I was like,
and then you see the progress while you're at work, and you're like, oh,
they're pretty
missed
much
out on that.
Yeah, they're pretty much done. I didn't get.
I felt the same thing. I was like, well, guess I'll have to go on YouTube and see what that was all about.
And that sucks. I don't know. We talked about this longer than I thought we would.
So this is not the end game crafting that a lot of people were hoping for, or I don't even know if a lot.
That it could become that.
It's something that a few vocal people were hoping for.
Yeah.
Yoshida responded to this, and I thought he made a pretty bold statement that I probably wouldn't have made. But he said, "We apologize to those crafters and gatherers, including fishers, who were expecting new ways to play. But we will be adding high difficulty recipes, a ranking system, and scratch-off tickets, named to be announced or decided, in future updates, which we are sure will be worth the wait."
Ooh, that last bit.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
probably could have left that last bit out. You're making a statement.
You could say
now.
which we look forward to it, not it will be worth the wait.
I'm like,
but that's a translator thing too.
I'm like,
who translated that?
It was his forum post. I don't know who would have translated that.
Yeah, whoever translated that. I was like, ooh.
I'm like, oh, that's advertising Yoshi when he should be developer Yoshi.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely like, hey, instead of
it's like
ABC.
Should have ended at in future updates. Just leave it at that.
Like, it has potential. That the one thing I do like about this is it wasn't like a Eureka. It wasn't a diadem. I mean, yes, we're finishing it quickly, but this definitely has potential to get better. Like full on, people are enjoying it. The biggest thing that people are disappointed in is that too many people are doing it, and it's too easy to finish. So,
yeah, they should have made it harder, or harder's a weird word. They should have made it more grindy. Like, it's not hard. It should have taken longer to complete.
Because so many people can work on it. And I mean, I would even be okay if they scaled it per server. The smaller servers, don't have to craft as many things as the larger servers do.
He had something in his post saying that would have been really hard to do. That's why they opened it up to World Visit. I don't know if I totally buy that or not.
I'm okay if they open it up to World Visit, but close off the Fate. Like, the Fates aren't open.
Or at least, like, open it up to World Visit after 2 months or something like that. So if you haven't finished now, you can have people come help you out.
Yeah, like, that's fine.
We'll help you out, little server.
Because then it's more of like hey, if you want to transfer servers, you can pay for that. Because they always like to kind of throw that. But you can pay to do this thing. And so that's that's the option. I don't know. I don't want to hate on Square Enix. But because I do think this is really cool content.
I don't know if we've even been... I didn't mean to come off negative on this, because I still like this. I still like this edition.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was trying to say.
It's just had some problems.
It just is. It's like, hey guys, we made this really awesome chocolate cake for your birthday, but so many people came for your birthday that you only get a piece
we
that's
invited
like
too many people.
this big, like it's the size of a quarter, and it's the most delicious chocolate cake you've ever had, but all you get is this tiny piece, and you're like, yay, I got chocolate cake. I really wish I'd gotten more.
Thank you so much for that sub, Agitated Salamander.
So,
6
yeah.
months.
That's the best way I can describe that. Like, I love the chocolate cake, and thank you so much. So now chat wants cake, but like, yeah, like you're so excited. It tastes delicious, but you really wish you had been able that your parents had ordered more cake.
Fucking parents. All right. Well, I wrote 3 bullet points down for a restoration of Ishgard, and it took a long time to get through.
All right. So, Pete, remember, the guys, this is the spoiler cast. So before we go into the 5.1, if you have been listening, and we kind of mentioned it at the intro, we went to such detail for Shadowbringers 5.0 questline that we actually didn't finish it. So Pete just wanted to go into 5.1, and I didn't like going.
Or if you can convince Avi to do like 1 3-hour episode when we go through like MSQ.
So instead of just going straight into 5.1, I wanted to at least write up a little bit about how Shadowbringers kind of ended. So if you have not finished Shadowbringers yet, mute us, don't go away. We're still here, but I've got a little paragraph to give you kind of the like important bits in like super short format of what happened.
This would be like a TLDR if you skip cutscenes.
Yeah. So 5.0 ends where we fought Vothri, who we found out was actually half man, half sin eater, and the whole creation of Vothri was orchestrated by Emmett Selk. We also find out that the Crystal Exarch and Urion J were lying the entire time about the visions they were having.
Bitches.
The Exarch is actually Graha Tia, the caretaker of the Crystal Tower back from the A Realm Reborn saga, and he planned on killing himself to send us back to our home world, but was interrupted by Emmett Selk, who of course figured out his plan. Baby Minfilia, also known as Reen, has been granted Minfilia's full powers, so Minfilia is no more. We explore Amarot, which is the Asian city, and learn that Emmett Selk is trying to rejoin all of the worlds because they were once his world, his people, and to him, we are the villains trying to stop him, the hero. The final battle, Emmett Selk reveals that he himself is Hades, and Ardbert, the Warrior of Darkness, finally learns his purpose. He imbues us with his energy, and the Crystal Ark also summons the other heroes from other worlds to join with us, making us Emmett Selk's equal, which allows us to kill Hades, aka Emmett Selk, with an imbued Ardbert's axe, warrior axe, at the end. And then the Warrior of Light/Darkness returns to the source with the intent of finding a way to get everyone back with them. Meanwhile, Estinian and meanwhile, I should have said it like Pete. Estinian and Gaius witness Xenos, who is now back in his own body, kill his father, Varys. So Varys is dead. And that is the super, super quick 5.0 ending. And thank you for the bits, KK. I guess that you like my little quick bit, TLDR.
Good job, Avi.
Yeah.
So now, since we are in week 3 of patch 5.1 now, I think
all the important bits.
I think it's time we hit on some of the major plot points of this patch.
I do have to say, by the way, it was difficult to write up a quick bits because I wanted to elaborate on a lot of those points.
That's why it's so hard. That's why I go on and on when we do our recaps.
You need to edit yourself. Mr.
I shall not be edited.
Man of few words. How do you not edit yourself in papers?
I'm a writer, baby.
Edit yourself. I talk a lot, but I will edit the fuck out of a paper.
All I heard was you talk a lot. Saving the Sions, Avi.
Crickets.
No, thank you. So we're going to hit on the major plot points in this, and hopefully this is how we're going to do recaps in the future. We're going to pick main points that we found throughout the patch.
Okay.
So this first one I called Saving the Sions. And with things having calmed down on both the first and the source, we decide to turn our attention to what we need to do to save our Sion friends.
And spoilers. Spoilers.
In case you didn't know. We are pushed to this decision because Cryo lets us know that the connection between body and soul is getting weaker.
Oh, no.
It's more apparent that the ones that have been in the first the longest have had the most disassociation between body and soul.
Right.
So we leave the source and head on over to the first to speak to the Exarch to see if he has any insight. Through some discussion between him, Urion J, Y'shtola, and the twins and ourselves, we make the decision to seek out a powerful mage that the Exarch had attempted to contact before, but with no success. The mage's name is Baek Lug and lives in the castle, the Grand Cosmos.
And she kind of talks like things are horrible and they're going to happen. And she's sounds kind of old lady-ish. And
Yeah,
it's kind of adorable.
you told me it was a girl, and I actually hadn't. I was unknown if it was a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Apparently, you say it's a girl.
Yeah.
Having been unable to meet with Baek Lug through traditional means, we come to the conclusion that we have to fight our way through the Grand Cosmos to convince her that we're worth the meeting.
Ooh.
So, go.
No, mine. The next one's mine, so I figured you'd read those too.
Oh. So we're at the Grand Cosmos and need to fight our way through. None of the stuff that we're fighting are actual inhabitants of the dungeon. They're all things conjured up by Baek Lug, and as far as we can tell, she's the only living person in the Grand Cosmos. After fighting our way through all of her creations, she does in fact meet with us. However, it's kind of reluctantly. She's like, all right, you fought my incantations. I'll talk to you. And she ends up not having the most original story. She's exiled herself because she was part of this king's court, and they eventually ended up abusing her mage powers. So that's kind of why she exiled herself, not wanting to help people ever again. But she's a pneumo, so she has it in her DNA that she really wants to help out mortals like ourselves.
As KK, we go, and who's a good girl? And she goes, I'm a good girl, I'll help.
And we tell Baek Lug what we're dealing with regarding our Sion's friends' bodies and soul problem, and agrees to try to help us. While talking to her about our problems, Alice also brings up that the people of Meringue have been affected by the light. That's the camp where Tesleen was running. And Baek Lug is very interested in this, and actually is willing to help us with that, which we're a little taken aback. We're a little surprised since she didn't really feel like she wanted to help people that much. But she hits us with the line, "It was my faith in man I lost and not my compassion," so she's willing to help out.
So then we head over to Meringue, to where the camp of the affected are hanging out. We see the little boy Halric, which we met early on in Shadowbringers. He's a little Aura boy who's in the process of turning to a shadow or a Sin Eater. And he's the one that Tesleen sacrificed her life to save. Exciting news, guys. He's showing signs of improvement. He mumbles now. And Baek Lug states that she has a tonic that can help save them. It temporarily stimulates the ether in someone's body. And this is what Pete was referencing. This is what was used improperly by the Knights of Vobert. I Googled them and saw that it's a tank role quest, which I haven't done. And Pete, if you remember, you've listened, he didn't like the role quest.
I was bored.
So he couldn't comment on any of it. I'm leveling my tank, so I will be doing these soon. And so the creation of this tonic became her greatest shame instead of her greatest triumph, but now she's able to use it to help. So we use the tonic on the suffering people in Meringue. Some of them find relief while others don't. And then she goes into this whole etherical sciences as to why they will only naturally heal on their own, and why they won't, which ones do, and it was a lot. But basically, if you've had it for too long, you're too far gone, and we can't help you with the tonic. But there is a chance if we summon a familiar to help act as a conduit to revitalize the secondary ether, then we can potentially help these people. Alice volunteers to do it, and that way she can help as many people as possible, because Baek Lug is going to eventually leave, and Alice is like, I'm here for the peoples. So after gathering supplies, Alice is asked to sculpt a porksy. And let me just say, this is my favorite part of 5.1.
Because it reminded you of something you would create?
No, it's no, I'm talented. But a lot. This is a lot my favorite part. I don't know about you guys, but I fully expected her to be all right, sculpt a porksy. And then it looks exactly like the cute little mount. It's perfect. Which, because they just use the model of it and then boom, it's a porksy. However, what she creates is the ugliest flat-faced pig thing I've ever seen, and I love it. And I love it because Alphino is laughing at her, and then she gets super defensive, and Baek Lug goes in defense about it, and she's like, I know it's a grotesque parody of reality. But she says that as long as it works for the mage in order to create the item, that's really all that matters.
It's basically as if you look at that, as long as that makes you think of the actual thing.
Porksy. You see a porksy when you look at that, you're good. And so Alice goes, and to turn her her Porksy into a familiar, and it works. She summons it. She names it Angelo, and Halric starts to speak, and so now she can help those transforming to Sin Eaters just get that much better. So you go, Alice.
Was anyone else like hoping for like a Picasso Porksy though, just to be like really weird and angular?
Oh my god, I would have died. I loved it. I love that she was like, Angelo. Like, what?
Like, damn, Angelo's fucked up.
Well, it's based out Angel, you know, like, because he's bringing back life, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
So yeah, from there we head off on our own directions. Baek Lug is gonna go back with Urian J, I believe, and work on some stuff with the White Auracite. I think we've kind of forgot to say that.
That's right. It's a Final Fantasy VIII reference.
The whole reason we looked for Baek Lug is to work on Urian J's theory that we could put our souls into White Auracite and take that back to the source, to our
because
bodies.
We, as the warrior of light, darkness, are able to travel between the two worlds, and so something on our purpose on our person would be able to come with us.
And that's what we wanted her opinion on, Baek Lug's opinion on. And so she's going to go back with Urian J to work on that. And we're headed to Yulmore. And a big part of this patch's MSQ was focused on Yulmore.
I can't believe you wrote this much about it because I thought this entire section was so boring.
It was.
Very boring.
Parts of it, anyway.
Most of it.
And while it took a while to complete this bit, I am glad we got it. I've talked a lot about it before, especially in Stormblood. I hate when there is a war or defeating rulers or something like that, and then there isn't any revisiting of it to see who filled that power vacuum. You just kind of move on to it. So at this point, Vothri is out, gone, dead, and the residents of Yulmore and the surrounding areas are on their own. No one has stepped up to lead. No one is stepping up to lead. They decide to nominate people.
And hold an election.
But no one wanted to be in the election.
No, but no one ran, but so then they nominated and people voted, and the person with the most nominations won. So it's still a vote. It's just like you didn't actually choose to run.
But yeah, you didn't choose to run here. You're like, oh, you all voted for me? I don't know why. But,
right.
The nomination ends up being for China's husband of Dulia Chai, our favorite cat lady. And however, he's missing and we need to find him. Because Dulia Chai doesn't notice that note he left for her.
She's freaking out.
He's like, hey, I'm heading out for a bit. And she's,
he's gone. He left me. I don't know what happened.
He left, yes. And this is where the majority of the time is spent. And yes, it can be a bit boring. And like I said, I like that they address this aspect of needing to install a government in Yulmore.
I don't hate that part. I hate how long they focused on it.
It took a long time, and it was...
I was legit falling asleep in my chair, like, okay.
It was a boring search for Kai, or chai latte. When we finally do find him, it turns out he was looking for a former advisor to Yulmore who left when it was being run the way he thought it shouldn't be. However, since Kai was just fine with how things were being run, he has no interest in helping Kai. But he isn't willing to take no for an answer and resolves himself to winning him over. He ends up doing this by getting some runaway Talos under his control, and he put in the grunt work. He didn't ask us.
It wasn't just about getting the Talos under control. It was about the fact that he had a plan to get the people fed, and that was part of the plan.
There was more. And it was also that he did the dirty work for it. He didn't ask us to get the Talos for him. And after seeing that, after asking him some questions, you said about the food.
I'm not going to have you go get the Talos for me, but will you come with me and tell me when it's safe for me to go do it? So he basically had you there to do it. Like, he couldn't do it without you. Like, it negated his saying, hey, I'm going to do this because I need to do this. But can you please come with me for moral support? Like...
That's okay.
No, not to me. That was like, fuck off, man. Like, do it or don't. Do it or don't. I can do this faster without you. If I gotta go with you, it's gonna take me 10 times as long.
I'm okay being the lookout saying, go now.
I thought that was stupid.
I'll be the lookout for the robbery. You go do the smash and grab.
But you're still like, I'm okay being the lookout, but don't act like you're doing this on your own if I'm still there.
He did the hard work.
He threw a fucking thing. He even commented how easy it was. I get he needed a guard, but his whole thing was saying he didn't want to use us. He didn't want it to be us. He wanted to prove he could do this, but then he still couldn't do it without us. Like, it just...
He probably could have. He made it a little easier.
It negates the point. It negates the like strength of his argument of saying, I'm going to do this on my own.
Who gives a shit? Let's move on from this. It's a dumb point.
It bothered me.
So yeah, he eventually gets that former advisor. I don't even remember his name. We're probably never going to see him again unless he's just in the background of some fucking scene. He gets back to Yulmore. He finally accepts the position and gives a nice speech about how there's no more caste system and that everyone will need to work together to survive and thrive. And it goes over well with both the residents, the well-off residents of Yulmore, and the poor from the Delarex. And I thought overall I liked it. I just took way too long to get there. And that was my biggest problem with this part.
Which is why I was so annoyed that he needed me. I was like, sweet, I've been doing this for so fucking long that I'm falling asleep in my chair. Oh, and now you need me. You say I don't need you, and now you need me to come with you. Okay.
And
that's why it bothered me.
That wasn't even integral to the story. I think it was more Square Enix being like, oh, we should put like this dumb mechanic where you have to go into that magnification zoom thing and zoom in and press one button and say go now. It's like, that was just a stupid fucking mechanic for us to do. I kind of liked when they introduced it the first time. Now I'm fucking annoyed by it. They try to shoehorn it into too many things.
It's the same way I felt about trying to go find him. How it's like, oh, go talk. Oh, he talked to me. Oh, well, he talked to me about this. Oh, well, he talked to me about this. I didn't need 6 people to tell me he talked to me about them about things before I finally found him.
You're tracking him down.
It was a lot of tracking.
All right.
I knew where he went immediately. Like I knew where he went. Logically.
You didn't.
I did.
know.
It was quite obvious.
You didn't even know about that guy. You didn't know he was going to search out that guy.
No, but you knew the other people who had left Yulmore and created a city, a prosperous town, and they were doing okay on their own, and they knew how Yulmore worked, so it only logically made sense that he would go there.
You didn't know.
Okay. Panty Pirates, I love you. They purposely sent him out to die a few times out of sheer boredom. If I wouldn't have been pressed for time, I'd have done the same thing. Just die, fucker. All right, continue.
I don't even think you can kill him. That'd be fun if you could.
You can fail because I couldn't figure out the button. I didn't realize.
You failed?
No, because I didn't realize I had to like poke him. I was poking the thing in, so when I finally clicked him, the robot was facing away. The Talos was facing away, and then as soon as he started to walk, the Talos went bloop and turned right back around, and so he failed.
Murderer.
Yeah. I was like,
Last week I mentioned that the new custom deliveries in Yulmore with Kai Shur and the Beehive, he's basically a promoter now for this club. He's trying to get more clientele for the Beehive, but because understandably entertainment is going to be one of the first things people cut back on in trying times and war times.
Yeah.
But even in bad times, entertainment is a very important thing to keep morale up. So from what I've gone through in this so far involves the Beehive going through a bit of a transformation. Not so much the aesthetics of it, but they've added more affordable food and drink to the Beehive.
Sorry.
To the menu to attract people from the surrounding
are they adding like
villages.
an all-you-can-eat steak menu? Or
no, they're doing it like regional fare.
But no, it's like, oh, that's what strip clubs do. Come in for our like $5 steak night.
Okay.
See the signs?
The good strip clubs don't do that. Just so you know.
I don't care. So you're saying is that the Beehive is not a good strip club?
No, I'm saying they don't have the all-you-can-eat buffet, so it is a good strip club. The good strip clubs don't have an all-you-can-eat buffet.
But they're offering cheap food.
They're offering affordable food. First of all, it's not a strip club. It's a club. For dancing, singing.
With poles.
Every nightclub has go-go dancers on a pole.
I go for the chicken wings, I swear. I don't go for the sleaze.
Anyway, if you want to learn how to do collectibles, you should be doing this too.
Nope.
Do custom deliveries. And I like it.
There's no glamour there. I don't
care.
care.
They're going to change some of the music so that the dwarves can sing along and do their drinking songs and have their stein of grog.
Do we actually see that? No.
Maybe in the future.
Pete sees that as if there were like dwarves with their like mugs of grog that would start singing because I turned in collectibles, I would do that.
I haven't gotten to the next stage. Maybe that's coming. They're going to change the music so they can sing along.
You're trying to. I can dress the. I don't care about dressing him. I've got freaking 3 retainers and myself. I got enough and mannequins. I got enough things to dress. I don't need another dude to dress that nobody else can see. I'm good.
So I am pretty interested to see where the Beehive ends up at the end of this custom deliveries?
It's gonna be a strip club.
No, it's not. It's not even going that way. You should do it so you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Nope.
All right, Avi. Next segment, Echoing Estinian.
After we finish up everything in Yulmar, we head back to the source and we meet up with Tataru and Kryl to give them an update on the whole soul and body thing going on. While we're there, an old friend walks in, none other than Estinian. And I don't know about you guys, but I really did not feel like the voice actor and the way Estinian looks matched up. Just didn't feel right.
Yeah, there's a couple characters throughout the story that have that
too,
problem
like,
for me.
Throaty and like, I don't know, it just didn't really
like
work.
the Biggs voice. Ooh, I was out on that.
Yeah, that didn't work. All right, so he starts talking about his adventures with Gaius when he's in Garlemald, and then both Kryl and us, the Warrior of Light Darkness, I don't know what to call us anymore, have an echo effect, and it's at this point where we see the flashback of Estinian and Gaius.
What do you call it? Do you just call it the echo? Do you just call it a flashback? Do you call it a memory?
Sure.
I guess we're seeing the echo, right?
Well, the echo is showing us the memory.
So we're just seeing the echo
of the memory.
Okay.
While we're there, an old friend walks... Oh, wait. God dang it. You made me lose my place. All right. So in the flashback, we see Estinian and Gaius in the throne room where right after Xenos has slain his father. And so Varys must have been... Goodness, this is what Pete wrote for this. I'm sorry, guys. Varys must have been worth a shit ton of XP because Xenos definitely leveled up since the last time we faced him. Okay.
You don't agree?
Without hesitation, Gaius initiates a fight with Xenos, and Estinian joins the battle shortly as it appears
It's apparent that Gaius cannot take Xenos on his own.
That's not what you wrote. Oh, but okay.
Just got to add letters sometimes from what I write.
Throughout this battle, it is apparent that Xenos is bored. This is not a challenge. You can definitely tell by the way he's animated, by the way he's fighting, that this is way too easy for him. So basically, as bad as he was before, he's way more bad now.
Yeah, and I cut this off a little bit early. After this, we do have what they call a role play part where you do play as Estinian and you fight, I believe it's called Arc Ultima.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? You don't know. You
Nope.
just did it.
I didn't do Ultimate.
I'm not talking about Ultimate. I'm talking about the MSQ here.
Oh, what the fight I did was called?
What the mob was called. The one that looked like Ultima weapon.
Oh.
I think it was Arc Ultima.
Yeah, it was creepy, but it had like a half of a man hanging out the back of it. It was creepy with white eyes. I don't remember what it was called, but I remember looking at all I remember was the dude at the back, and I was like, you can kind of see his butt crack.
Avi's noticing the most important stuff in the game.
I was like, but I actually, not the butt crack part, but I appreciated the creep factor that they added because they just started adding the creep factor with Shadowbringers, and I really like that.
That kind of actually reminded me of something I would have seen in Nier Automata.
I didn't play Nier, but I felt like this feels influenced by Nier. Like, I actually got that same vibe because I do feel like perhaps even Nier influenced Shadowbringers. Like it was kind of a combination of Shadowbringers and Nier coming into
There
this.
was even a part of Mount Gold where I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like the copied factory. Like, there's huge influence, and I think it's only going to continue.
Oh, it's great. I actually like it feeling... By making Final Fantasy XIV a bit creepier, it feels more modern.
And I don't know enough about the original Ultima weapon to know if there was any sort of Easter egg on this new one that's going to point us to anything we might get in the future. But it definitely had a name. I remember, like, when
Chat was saying Arc Ultimate. They're agreeing with you on that.
When it, like, zoomed in on it, it did have a title.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know what that's leading to.
The problem is, Pete, that we just focus on different things.
You focus on butt cracks, and I focus on the name of Mom.
Well, the guy's eyes were white at the beginning of the fight, and they were black at the end of the fight, and it was just really creepy that they brought him into it. And you only had 2 abilities for the whole fight, and the third was a heal.
Actually, you only had 2 abilities when you were going through the corridors. When you got to the main mob, you had like 5.
Was he the main mob?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, yeah. And when you got to him, you had, but it was interesting because you had 2 single targets and you had 1 AoE and 1 jump. And I thought I was like holding onto the AoE because I was waiting to need to use an AoE, and there really wasn't a moment where you were killing a lot of mobs at once.
Well, at a certain point, he tells you to use a certain ability when there's 2 mobs on an upper ledge, and then you use that and it kills them.
I just did the thing.
You are really overpowered as a Stinian,
Yeah.
so you probably didn't need to.
Yeah.
I did, but there was a point where you were supposed to use.
Whenever I
ability.
saw multiple mobs that I could attack, I used the AoE one. But it wasn't, and I used jump basically because it was kind of an off global cooldown that you could use it again in about 5 or 6 seconds. So I used the jump a lot. I used it every time it was available pretty much, but it wasn't hard.
Yeah, and so obviously Estinian beats it, and then we're back in, not the Waking Sands. What's it called? Is it the Waking Sands? No. Mm-hmm. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Rising Stones. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Rising Stones, and Estinian's talking to us and Kryl still. Gaius is still out there. He didn't come back with Estinian, and we don't really know exactly who he's seeking out, just that he is seeking out someone still. And then we get a meanwhile in Garlemald.
You don't want me to read anymore, I take it?
Oh, if you want to.
So with Varys dead and Xenos apparently having no interest in inheriting the throne, Garlemald has fallen into a civil war, which we're guessing are the remaining Legatus fighters fighting for power. Legatus fighting for power? Is that what you meant that?
Legati? I don't know how the plural of legatus is.
Xenos is watching the fighting and again looking bored. He is shortly joined by a white hooded figure that Xenos doesn't actually seem to know. And this is the part that was, kind of new. If it was an Asian like Elidibus, we would think that we'd be able to recognize him regardless of how he's dressed. He's wearing actually the newer caster gear.
Mm.
That's what the character is wearing. It's like the coat with the red kind of, I don't know the name of it, but it's like a red kind of like tear up the front of it. And chat saying legati, most likely. So
That
a lot
is
of people
the plural of legatus. Legati.
So, but the guy says, I'm a dog and I will be your attack dog if you want me to.
Yeah, it seemed pretty fanboyish.
Yeah. I didn't view that as fanboy, but that's cool.
If I was Xenos, I would have cut him down right there.
You have somebody saying, I will do your bidding. Tell me what you want me to do.
Stop being a little bitch. I don't need any little bitches in my crew.
You don't know that he is.
He just called himself a dog.
Okay. I fully disagree with you, but that's cool. That's totally cool. Meanwhile,
Oh, do you not want to speculate on who this might be?
I have no ideas.
Well, also in this scene, it's kind of revealed that Xenos' plan includes Zodiark.
That's right.
And
I forgot about that.
I get the feeling that he kind of wants to absorb Zodiark the way he did with Shinryu.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this guy is like the scientist guy that created the fake echo to begin with. That was one of my ideas of who it could be.
But it doesn't feel like they know one another.
That's the part that kind of tripped me up. It's like he should know who Elidibus is, and he should know who the scientist guy was.
Mm-hmm.
What I can very well see it being someone we already know, and just for some reason he didn't recognize him to begin with, and that's so stupid to me. And I hate that. I hate the little things like that. It's like, why didn't he know who it was? If it's going to be someone we know.
Ginty agrees with you, though, that Xenos is kind of weird, and he's half likely to cut someone down just because he feels they aren't up to his criteria, regardless of what they'll offer him. So you're saying Xenos and Pete are kind of similar in their weirdness.
I don't need no bitches in my crew. Meanwhile, in Yulmore, we see some residents talking about how the work is now available with the Daedalus Stoneworks restarting, and people are pretty excited about the rebuilding effort. They're all about Taloses. People love Taloses.
Mm-hmm.
And
make the robots do my work.
Then it pans to what looks to be Ardbert, but it does not have Ardbert's name. I believe it was Wayward Warrior, something like that.
Wandering or
Wayward Warrior. And that's the other that's the cliffhanger.
Yes.
We are left to wonder who that might be.
And he's definitely not happy.
Some theories I saw were Elidibus. My first thought was somehow from that last fight with Hades, that somehow Emmett Selk was able to, you know how they threw the big axe from Ardbert? We had his power in the form of the axe and we threw it at him.
Icarus says it's the Warrior of Light from a different shard that Elidibus said he'd sick on us. Chili says that at the end of 5.0, Elidibus said he was bringing in the Warrior of Light. So this might be a Warrior of Light from a different world.
Another shard?
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see that, and that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Because he didn't look exactly like our Ardbert. He looked like an earlier version of him. Because this latest one had a little bit of stubble, I think, didn't he? Or am I thinking of maybe a trailer?
I didn't really, yeah.
So yeah, that's the two big cliffhangers at the end, I would say. We're left to wonder who the Ardbert looking fuck is and who the dog is who's wanting to get on Xenos'.
I think I focused more on the Ardbert than I did on the dog. To me the dog character was very Final Fantasy 14. Like there's always some hooded character at the end, and it doesn't feel new. It feels like, okay, another hooded person that we're gonna find out who they are. But Ardbert, but not Ardbert. But like that's interesting to me. That's intriguing to me. But no, it's not a dog, Moxie. There was the character in a robe who referred to themselves as an attack dog.
It might be an Asian dog disguising himself as a human being.
You don't know? Yeah.
Which is perfectly acceptable in Final Fantasy 14.
Pretty much. I don't know if we can put the whole Asian thing behind us because, 3 Lalas in a coat. That would make me happy. I would actually be okay with that.
It's the Thaumaturge Lalas again.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would actually be kind of glorious.
They're like, we have no idea how we got here.
We're gonna fuck your shit up though. That would be amazing.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo Silk.
You and those crazy kids or whatever. Like, yeah. Whole time I was actually...
All right. Do you have anything to add about this MSQ part? And we can always go in more in depth if anyone has any questions they want to ask us. Tweet at us what we got wrong, what you think might be happening, or what Avi got wrong.
People don't text us questions like, "Can you please elaborate on?" We're not the lore experts. We're the Gen Pop. Okay, we're the Gen Pop, and like this is what we interpreted. It was fun.
We're running a little long tonight, Icarus. I know you want to hop in and talk about it. Why don't you call in next week and you can tell us what we got wrong?
Yeah.
All right, Avi. If you don't have anything to add about the MSQ,
nope.
We're going to get to the community roundup, partner. So yeah, next week, everyone call in with your MSQ thoughts.
And your notes.
I think this is actually how I would prefer it. We give you the bullet points, you fill in the gaps. Community roundup, partner. Talking about
you already said that.
I know, I just want to do it twice for
in case we weren't listening.
Repetition. I don't know. We're talking about ffxivprogress.com. And that is not to track your own progress. That's to track the progress of ultimate world first ultimate groups.
Oh, cool.
All the groups trying for world first. And there is a news section on there. So you will see any updates on that.
And as of now, there are no clears yet.
No clears yet. And this is actually run by Frosty. Frosty used to just have like one spreadsheet and you'd have to go find that spreadsheet on Google Docs to look to see if there's been any clears.
Oh, they still have a link to the spreadsheet.
They do.
Yep.
But now you get a nice, neat website where you can see any clears that have gone, and you also get the news on any like progress that groups are making. Right now, he only has progress from the groups that are streaming. There's a lot of groups that don't stream though, so you kind of have to like put out the feelers to the groups to see what kind of progress they're making. So it lets you know what the people that are streaming, what mechanic they're getting hung up on right now. So it's kind of neat to go check out.
Cool.
All right, Avi, some listener reaction. What do you got for us?
So everyone's favorite at Moogle Go Round, MGR_Chili says, I just noticed that at She Heals I Tank, and this was from last week, has 5 followers away from 800 total. So if 5 followers follow them tonight during the show last week, I will give away a mount from the Mog Station in their next stream. Well, he actually did it same stream. So I brought this up because we want to say thank you, Chili, because of this tweet and saying this in chat, we were able to reach our 800 followers, and he did give away a mount, and it was super sweet of you, and we really appreciate it, and thank you for helping us get to 800 followers.
Thank you so much, Chili.
Yeah.
And we got Cater Pants. who, commenting on my beautiful 2B glamour, says, "The hooker boots look amazing on my hulking man frame. Dyed them red to really make the point." So he's doing the same thing I am.
There are actually quite a few comments about Pete's 2B glamour in metallic green. At Mars Blood says, it was a GIF from Star Wars. That's the, I have a very bad feeling about this.
And Aria saying, "Holy shit, LMAO, I love it."
And then finally at Rathok says, "Thank you to those able to chill this evening. Few rough spots in the hashtag Planet Zoo family, but working it out and the zoo is growing. Pass the party over to She-Hills I Tank this evening for some Final Fantasy XIV Ishgard restoration. Have a great Thursday, y'all."
And be sure to check out at Rathok, WRATHOC. They do a lot of streams, some gaming and some maker streams. They do a lot of like 3D printing and stuff like that, making cool shit.
It's really cool. All right, so on that note, I think that's going to be it for this episode. As always, we've enjoyed hanging out with all of you live here on Twitch. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be sure to hit that follow button if you're new here, and that way you'll know the next time we will be going live. And a great big thank you to everyone listening to the podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, and whatever other app came out this week that I haven't heard of yet. You really are the reason we keep making episodes. And remember, wherever you do listen, it would mean a shit ton to us if you give our little shit She-Heals I Tank podcast a rating or a review, or, tell a friend to check us out. Here with Vegan Pete, I'm Avi Ale, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.